Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Good Hope, Illinois, as TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH is here at the Lewis Farm in rural Good Hope, Illinois for the 100th National Corn Husking Nevermind.
We're an 11-bed ER. I pride myself on every day that the patients get what they need and see a physician when they need it. We want them to be headed towards the road of recovery when they leave here. I feel like we have nurses that care so much. We're more than a team. It's a family, and we want what's best for the patient.
Welcome back here to Good Hope, Illinois. Jacket on as well, so yes. You're local to the area, and this is a pretty big event for West Central Illinois, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yes, it's amazing, and luckily they had a great day for it. It's a little breezy out here, but it's sunny, and I think everybody's having a great time.
Yeah, it's a little windy, but not too bad. You've been here all day long talking to people about Ag in the Classroom. What is Ag in the Classroom to accomplish by being here today?
Ag in the Classroom is a program where we go into the public schools and talk to the students about agriculture, because so many people, so many children don't know too much about agriculture. They drive by cornfields and soybean fields every day, but they really don't know what it's all about. This month I've been going into the preschool classrooms, taking a stalk of corn with the ears and the tassel and the roots and everything attached to it, and we talk about that so that they understand what a corn plant really looks like. And then we talk about the importance of the tassel, the pollen that comes from the tassel that pollinates the corn so it can produce those nice yellow kernels that we all see in the fall. So we do that, and like I say, that so many people don't have any connection with farms anymore. So we reach out. My cohort, Mindy Sowers, is the other Ag in the Classroom coordinator in the county. And so we see as many of the local school children as we can in McDonough County. And we do a lot of extra activities. Yesterday I was up at Moon over Macomb. We were making pumpkin pie in a bag. And I served 100 children pumpkin pie in a bag yesterday, so that was a lot of fun. And we talked about Illinois being the key producer of pumpkins in the whole nation. Over in Stark County, around Peoria, they produce more pumpkins than any other state in the nation. So, sometimes Illinois gets kind of a bad rap, but we also do some great things, especially with agriculture.
You've talked about during that Illinois is, these kids forget a little bit about what agriculture is. Even though we're in a rural community, there's very few people still involved directly with production agriculture. So going into these classrooms to demonstrate what production agriculture truly is and how it's tied to the economy of Illinois is a very important thing.
It's very important. Illinois' economy, I would say, depends on agriculture. You've got your food, your fiber, and your fuel. Think of the ethanol from these cornfields and the biodiesel from the soybean fields. And Illinois farmers do a fantastic job of producing all of these products.
We've been out here today. Have you got to watch much husking, or have you been working the entire time?
I've been out in the fields here because this is the first time I've been to one of these events, and it's so interesting. Yes, and you mentioned Western. Joel Groover is one of the contestants. He's a professor out here at Western, and he runs the Allison Farm, the organic farm. And he is one of the, he's competing on the national level out here in just a few minutes. So, it's just fun to see all of these things. And the special attachment hook, gloves that they wear to do this harvesting, and to think that farmers years ago, that's how they did it. That's how they filled up their wagons. They didn't have a 12, 16-row combine at that time.
Well, as we said, we were here yesterday and today making some recordings of some of the contestants. So we're going to step aside for a minute here, let Kenny play one of those videos so you guys can see kind of up close and personal what it is to go corn husking in West Central Illinois. Test 1 2. Okay. Welcome back live here to Good Hope, Illinois, and a Lewis Farm southeast of Good Hope, which is straight north almost, maybe a little east of Macomb, Illinois, the county seat for McDonough County. And I'm Dwayne Hulett. Kenny Suter is now alongside, and I talked a few seconds ago. Kenny, we had you picking I got some video of it, but we're not going to get that on because we came on right after that, so we're not going to have that video of you on during our live broadcast, but we'll have some of that. Your family's been involved in this, and this has really been a deal that family is a big part of this whole scenario, isn't it?
Family's a huge part of this. That's pretty much everybody that comes here is. There we go. Now that I've turned up. Family's a huge part of this. As you look around, this type of thing is kind of out there for people at this time of year. People don't really want to be hand-shucking corn in 2022. They never really think about it. A lot of the people that are still around here have family that have done it, have had generations of people that have gone through this contest, know how it is, and know how it's fun. For our family, of course, start with our grandpa, Jim. He was doing it for years and years. As we keep on moving down the line, everybody got involved, entire family. I know just for today, we've got 3 generations of people working to help everything. My grandmother, my mother, my sister, my other sister, my uncle, all working with either the scales weighing everything or out on registration, making sure everything runs as smoothly as it can here with the national contest that brings up a lot more issues with organization, as you got 10 states of people all running around trying to figure out who's going where to which row, if everybody's got driver and a timer. Just being able to get as many people as you can out to help, and that's really where family comes involved.
So we are having a little bit of video issues as we're out here in the remote area, and we were sending a little more video than our service could handle. So we've adjusted that, and we're should be good to go now, I think. Anyway, we'll keep trying and see what it goes here. But you were getting cut out on there a little bit, Kenny, but this is something that I think people don't really understand today, because we drive down the road, right, and we see combines with 40-foot platforms and 16-row heads or 24-row heads for corn. And this is something that when it started 100 years ago or 101 years ago or so, it was something that was done because it had to be done, right? Yep. Then at some point, well, I should say that's when the contest started. They were still picking corn. A lot of people were still picking corn that way. As it's progressed, obviously it's become less known because nobody does it this way anymore, except for the people that are still doing the contest. The cool thing is there's people from 10 states here this weekend performing, really, because that's what they're doing. I mean, it's just a sport. And for them, it is a sport. And there's some really, really good competitors here this weekend.
Of course, you've always got people, especially from areas like Iowa and Ohio. It seemed like anytime I would come to nationals growing up, I think maybe I got a shot this year, and then I'd see somebody from Iowa going 3 times faster than me and realize, well, this is more of a fun thing for me instead of a competition. Some of these people that have been around, again, family deal, been around for 3 generations and been learning for 20 years, and those are just kids that are 25, 26 years old. Especially you look at somebody who's 75 or plus in that age range, and they're going faster than the kids are. It's really just a great way to kind of remember the past, kind of get in touch with, something a little bit bigger than, your normal daily life here. So we try to fix some more internet issues. We do apologize. It seems like everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah, especially when guys with big feet step on camera cords.
Yeah.
You want to check that camera cord up there and make sure it's plugged in the side of the camera for me.
Yep, that'd probably help.
We have multiple view cameras here, and
there we are.
We have not I kicked one of them out, the one we were using initially, and it's locked up on me. I can't get it to unlock, folks, so we'll have to see if we can figure that out as we move along. I'm not sure why it is doing that, but it is nonetheless doing that. So what we might do here is I'm going to cheat my way through this a little bit. So bear with us as you're going to see my ugly mug there for a few seconds.
I'm going to go through and fix everything.
Correct it and see if we can get it fixed up here.
That's another thing, with this, it's not really that serious. There is people that when they're going through the competition, they're locked in, focused, looking at, ears that are 7 or 8 down the line, knowing exactly where you have to place your hands, where to cut with your hook, keep pushing through. And Dwayne was making fun of me earlier for having full-on conversations while shucking, and I'm sitting there like, I know I'm not really going to win compared to the competition, so why not just have some fun?
Well, it's kind of thinned out right around us where we're at right now, as we've had some groups come through. The 50 and older men's and women's are starting now, and then they'll have the opens come through, and the open is where they really start to throw some serious corn in the wagon, right? So we'll talk about that as we come along. We'll play some more videos of stuff that's went on throughout the day today, but we'll start with, should we do yesterday's?
Sure.
We'll do some stuff from yesterday. Which one did you do? Which video did you play?
I played man number 1 and Tim. That was first person was my uncle Tim, as we got some video of him, and we had Tegan, who helps us out with the Macomb games. He did some camera for us and forgot to ask people their names, so we've got a few mystery men out there.
Is this April and April I know picking?
Yes, that it would be my mother picking.
Well, let's just go to that. What do you say? We'll just play April right off the bat here, and we're going to work on getting some more interviews of some people who are involved in the contest here as we move along. But right now, here's April Suter doing a fantabulous job, I'm sure, picking, right?
Oh, yeah, as she sat there and complained as I was I was videotaping her yesterday.
And there she is in all her glory. Is she fast at this?
Yeah, she's, a little bit slower than she used to be. We haven't been able to come out here for a couple of years, all of us together as a family with multiple kids in high school, getting other things going. I know for my job, I haven't been out here for a while. And now that she's kind of gotten past that, gotten kind of used to being mostly an empty nester, she does have her grandchild come by all the time. She's having a fun time getting through and getting back to picking, even though it looks like she is not.
It is work, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Especially changing from a 10 to a 20-minute time limit.
That's what you did today, right?
Yep. A 20-minute time limit. After about 15 minutes, you realize, man, 20 minutes is a lot longer than I thought it was. As you push through, she does utilize the hook, so it's a little faster than me. I never really messed with adding the hook into my repertoire. I'm just more of a pull and twist, which, it's going to be a lot slower than just having an easy hook to cut off, but at the same time, it's always cleaner, and I've always been more of a clean guy than a volume guy.
She's working her tail off there, working to get through this first group. That was Illinois State Championship yesterday. Today's National Championship Day. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along, as well as we're getting towards the end of April's 15 Seconds of Glory. Mm-hmm. I can't wait till we get to do a video for you, though.
Oh, mine is atrocious.
I took some good video today, though.
I got to Nationals because they needed 3 people to do a class yesterday, and I went ahead and did it. And because I got third, that technically means I qualified, which, I could have done 1 ear of corn and qualified. I decided to do, a full run.
Well, I'm proud of you, if that matters.
It doesn't.
It doesn't? I didn't figure so. So we do broadcasting of sporting events locally here in West Central Illinois on the regular in Knox and Fulton and McDonough counties. So we're going to play a couple of commercials from our sponsors. MDH is one of our main sponsors. We'll play a commercial from them and then a couple other local sponsors of ours here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. And we'll be back in just a few minutes as we work to get some more live interviews for you here from Good Hope, Illinois at the National Corn Husking Competition.
We're an 11-bed ER. I pride myself on every day that the patients get what they need and see a physician when they need it. We want them to be headed towards the road of recovery when they leave here. I feel like we have nurses that care so much. We're more than a team. It's a family, and we want what's best for the patient.
MTC Communications is building a high-speed fiber network in our community, and we're putting priority on the areas with the greatest interest. That means we need your input to let us know you want us to build fiber in your area first. Experience the speed and convenience of fiber internet by visiting our special website and registering. Let us know you want fiber internet today, and make your voice heard.
At Country Financial, we enjoy serving the community in which we live, big or small.
I love living in the Blandonsville area. It's where I grew up, went to school, and decided to raise my family. I never had a desire to live or work anywhere other than in a small town. I feel lucky to help my longtime friends and neighbors with their insurance needs. It's like working with family every day.
I'm Brett Powell, your local Country Financial representative, whose door is always open to work with you.
I would have to say that is the most rewarding part of what I do, making a difference in people's lives, taking care of the women from puberty on through postmenopausal stages and seeing them go through the phases and stages of life.
Oh, did I turn us down? Did you do that or did I do that? I did that? Huh. Well, you can tell this is live, can't you? Because it's abnormal for us to do this kind of live. It's a different setup, and usually it's sports, and we know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and we knew that we weren't going to be in that kind of a scenario today, but I think it might be catching me a little more off guard than previously anticipated. Steve, right?
Yes.
Steve
yes.
Link is with us now, and Steve, Kenny went and tracked you down, and I asked Kenny if he was going to interview you, and he said, no, that was my job.
Yep.
So what exactly, and we came on so quick after he got you back, what exactly are you going to talk about today?
I'm the president of the Corn Item Collectors Association.
Oh, so you're the guy with all that cool video
Yep.
that he
Yes.
put together.
Yes.
So I can play that video now, and we could talk over it? Okay. Corn 1. Corn 1. He's got some corn memorabilia one. I got to find it here, folks. Hold on just a second. I see corn memorabilia too. There it is. Okay, I'm going to turn myself down a little bit here. Let me see. Which one am I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, I'm not that one. I'm this one. 1, 2, 3. I changed headsets since Kenny left. We took our headsets off. So corn memorabilia 1. Let's see if we can keep getting audio. We're going to. So, can you see this at all, Steve? So tell us a little bit about what is some of the things you collect.
So corn shellers, the hand crank corn shellers.
Which is what we're looking at
right
now.
Yes, that's what you're looking at now. I have pretty much anything and everything corn related. So I have pretty much everything. A lot of the free giveaways they used to give away. The seed corn companies would give away pins, pencils, buttons, patches.
I want to point something out. I always thought it was funny they call that free.
Free, yes.
We're going to charge you out the wazoo for your corn, but we'll give you a hat for free.
Right.
You know, so I mean, really, come on, it's not free.
So the joke, growing up that I always heard was, why don't farmers wear tennis shoes?
Because they don't give them away at the seed corn company.
That's right.
My grandpa was a farmer. You know, my grandpa had corn in a disco elevator.
Oh yeah,
and it closed.
Yep.
And he lost 15,000 bushel or 1,500 bushel. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, they gave him a cowboy hat.
Oh,
that's what he got.
Oh, yeah, that's almost even, right?
That seems like a fair trade to me.
Yeah.
So we have went blank there, so we'll come back and go back to the main camera as they are still doing a few things here throughout the day as we move along. So how did you get into collecting corn memorabilia?
So we used to go to the shows. I had engines and tractors, and my daughter wanted something to do when she was little. So
did that mean you used to go to Argyle? And stuff like that?
Yep, we've been to Argyle quite a bit. That's where it started. Mm-hmm. So one year we got a little corn sheller in a mill set up for her, and that was her display. She was all excited. Well, a couple years later, as we'd been there a while, the corn item collectors come over and invited her to come over and set up with them.
Well, that's cool.
And it's just kind of expanded from there.
So is it hers or yours now?
She's 30 now, and it's all mine.
It's all yours.
It's all mine.
So you started it for her.
You're right.
Her. Was it really for her? Or was it?
Yep.
Did
it was.
you ever think you'd get involved in it?
No, I didn't. I was not interested. I grew up in the middle of a cornfield, and corn wasn't even something that I thought I would. But now I'm the president of the corn item collectors.
Now, the shellers that I saw you had were essentially one ear through the top of the spinner, right? I feel like when I was younger, we had a bigger one that had a big thing and it had a wheel and you spun the wheel on the side.
a big stand-up type corn sheller. Yep, I have a few of those. I have some that are 2-hole, so you can do 2 ears at one time. It's that they're just so big and bulky, it's hard to move around and bring out the shows and set up. And
so do you actually shell much corn when you're here? Do you shell all the corn that they pick?
No, but the kids come up and they can shell an ear of corn all they want. Back when it used to be up by Roseville, when Kenny was younger.
He's still young compared to us.
He shelled a lot of corn. I know his sister Elizabeth has shelled a lot of corn through them shellers. Free chicken food. Yep, we used to give them all our shelled and ground corn used to go to the suitors as feed for their chickens.
Don't they live in Potato Holler or Chicken Holler or what is it?
Tater Holler. Tater Holler.
That's what it was. It seems like Chicken Holler should have been closer to right.
In the middle of nowhere.
So, how much stuff do you have now?
I have a trailer full, a garage full, a shed full. I have a lot of stuff.
Are you still married?
Yes, I'm still married. As long as it's not in the house, we are good.
Oh, that's okay. That seems to be the thing when all these collections happen. That's a legitimate. I mean, that sounds like a rude thing to ask, but that's a legitimate question.
Oh, it is. Yes.
I mean, you have to have a pretty good wife to be able to tolerate you collecting all that stuff and going to these things on a regular.
Yes.
But I suppose the same thing could be said about corn husking too, right?
Yep. I'm not a corn husker, but my 2 great nephews, the older brother, I've brought him out. The younger brother's doing it now, and yesterday he got first in state. He was excited because his brother never got higher than second.
So who's your nephews?
Ryan Link and Sean Link.
And they're from Bushnell/Prairie City, right?
Yep.
I know their mom.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's amazing that I'm just going to leave that alone.
Megan is my niece. She's my oldest niece. When she was that age, she would go everywhere with me. Now they go everywhere Ryan does. Sean's Sean's over me.
Yeah.
He found girls.
Yeah, well, that happens. So you better find one that'll let him have memorabilia and corn husking,
Right.
I mean, that's important stuff that we're talking about today. So I talked to Kenny a little bit about this. Family is like a huge part of this deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
And really, I feel like, hey, go grab that chair. Or
No, I'm fine.
Really, I mean, family's what's keeping this thing going, right?
Yeah, there's families that come from Iowa, whole families from Ohio, and it's not just grandma and granddad picking, it's grandma, granddad, great-grandma, granddad, mom, dad, the kids, their kids.
And it's public is going to do anymore. So in order for this to stay alive, it has to be passed down to generation to generation. Right?
And, my daughter is definitely not interested in this. So I'm hoping these kids will keep it going.
Maybe her kids will.
Well,
maybe just skip a generation.
I'm pretty sure she's told me already that ain't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. I understand. I get that occasionally. It's cool to have families, and it's a kind of a neat change for you, right? I mean, the corn husking maybe wasn't your thing, but you're able to stay involved in what the family is involved in, right?
Yeah, and it really goes along. A lot of the members of the corn item collectors were Huskers, and Dick Humes, who's the president of the Illinois State, he's one of our members. He's a past president. Would help me. We'd bring more shellers and more stuff, and I don't know if you've seen the sandbox full of corn.
I did.
We used to fill that up for, they'd have to shell their own corn to play in the corn, so.
Can't beat that. That's should we look at memorabilia number 2? We'll take a look at that while you're here so we can, maybe you can see it. The sun's kind of bright out here. We're got to find corn memorabilia number 2. Kenny has some wonderful names for this stuff, let me tell you. Faster, lower cost harvesting. John Deere number 55 combine. What is that, like a 6-foot bean head?
So this gentleman just now joined our club this weekend, and he has this stuff. He wanted to set up a display, and it's like, sure, bring it out. We'll, and this is some of the stuff that our members collect. I mean, memorabilia, clocks, signs. Signs are really hot right now. Sacks. The thermometers, the advertising thermometers, all the different seed corn companies, everybody, once one guy does it, everybody else has to do it to keep up,
Right. And that's the thing is that they don't give stuff like that away as much anymore.
Oh, no,
but the signs and stuff, the fact that any of those signs are still around is pretty amazing.
And some of that bigger stuff in the frame is paper from out of the dealerships. That was meant to be thrown away when the new model year comes up. So someone saved it, like old seed sacks. A lot of those, they're just hung in the barn, and the rats eat them, and the mice eat them, and then they're gone. And
well, there's something to be said, about that as well. I mean, the stuff that they would have today wouldn't last like that stuff probably that was made back then. Even though it wasn't designed to last that long, it has.
Right. And one of our members, he always says, corn harvest didn't begin with $1 million piece of equipment, a huge combine and all this. This is what it started as. They're horse-drawn equipment, people actually by hand out picking corn, and it's where it started. It's
where it started, and it's where it remains for a lot of people right now.
Right.
I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys are farmers, and they have that huge John Deere combine. But they come back to their roots at least occasionally every year, right, for these contests.
Yeah. And I've been to Kansas, Nebraska, Minnesota, South Dakota, Illinois. It's like you said, it's families. Every state has, this kind of event. The Nationals happen to be here. Last year it was in Kansas. It's a big thing for, this group of people, and people that have never seen it come out, and they're just amazed that you watch some of these older people pick corn that I don't want to say they're out there on a walker, but, they're struggling to walk through the cornfield, but you put them in front of that wagon and, corn on the other side of them. They start picking corn, and you're thinking, where did they come from? Where'd that energy come from to start doing this?
Yeah, and that's, you kind of, I'm sure for them it's kind of I don't want to say a rebirth, but
a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, a return to days gone by for them. It's like the history of their younger days is exactly what they're doing at that point, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, it's really cool to see the age differences here. You know, I think that the medium age is probably 55 or so, but there's a lot of younger people here.
There is a lot of younger people. This morning, so my nephew's in the 14 and under group. The 14 and under girls outnumbered the boys 2-1 this morning.
Well, that has to make you feel good too.
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
I mean, see everybody get in.
Everybody does it, yeah.
So, well, Steve, I appreciate you coming up here. I'm sorry that you have to deal with Megan.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes she's
Megan. A handful.
She's a handful. She's
a handful, but she does good work. She's good people.
She's a good kid. She tries really hard. Them boys keep her active.
Yeah,
keeps her on the go.
Well, that's good for you. It's at our age. She's younger than me, but at our age, you know, you got to stay active, right?
Ryan's the child she deserves.
You know, it's funny how often you hear stuff like that.
It is.
Well, I know that she said Ryan would probably come down here and talk to us, so maybe Kenny should get Ryan to come down. Is he still around here somewhere?
He's watching my tent for me and my display for me right now. So
you want to bring him back? The old switcheroo, Kenny says. But we're going to switcheroo because you're going to interview Ryan then.
Oh.
Can you do that?
So yeah, I'm going to have to pull this up on my phone and listen live.
Yeah, you probably want to do that, or maybe you don't want to. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll play a few more. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
For the president of the
Corn Item Collectors Association.
Is that a national or a state?
We're based in Illinois. We have members. I can't remember how many states now. We're at about 160 members or so right now.
That's cool. It's all over the nation.
It's all over the nation.
Based
pretty much,
in Illinois, but people from all over.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, I don't think there's probably a whole lot of corn grown in Florida, so maybe you don't have members in Florida.
You might be surprised how much. Alaska is probably the thinnest, and Hawaii.
Well.
But other than that,
I didn't see any corn when I went to Hawaii. I've never been to Alaska, but I didn't see any corn in Hawaii.
I do know there is corn in Alaska, but not much.
Not much. It's very short season, right?
Yes, very short
season, like 55-day corn.
Right.
They even have that. Right. I don't know if that's possible or not, but 80 days. I think 80 days is about the shortest, isn't it?
I think there's 70-day corn now.
Is there?
It's really, there's some really short corn now.
That's up and down pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming by. Thanks. We'll get Ryan Link on here in just a few minutes, hopefully, and we'll show you some more videos in the meantime of what's been going on here today at the National Corn Husking Competition in Good Hope, Illinois. We'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, we're back live here. You can see one of the contestants starting to come into view on the left side of the screen there. They got some people watching as well. They've been picking now for, I'm going to say, about 10 minutes maybe. And they're moving down the line. It's right in front of us. They'll pick the corn on the left and toss it to the board and drop it in the wagon on the right. That's how everything will work here all day long as we're getting down towards the end of the National Corn Husking Championships here at the Lewis Farm in Good Hope, Illinois. I'm Dwayne Hulett. Kenny Studer will be back here, I think, with Ryan Link in a few minutes to talk to him about his experience this weekend here on the Lewis Farm. The 100th year of the National Corn Husking Competition. as a lot of people from 10 states have joined us today, and hopefully some folks across the country can watch some of the video that we've been able to collect. Came into this not knowing for sure what to expect as far as being able to broadcast stuff for you. Hopefully you folks can enjoy some of it. You can go back and watch it and have a little fun as we move along. So Kenny will get back here in just a few minutes. We're going to let you watch quietly as you see this first group, and we'll see if we can get another camera or two in action for you folks at home to watch some more pickers. As you can see, an ear or two fly by occasionally there. One of the issues we found with trying to get stuff so you guys could watch at home is we have to almost be mobile with everything because the crowd tends to stand behind, and we're behind the picker. So when the crowd stands behind, then we have a hard time being able to get you a good view of the picker. So anyway, here comes Kenny and Ryan. So we will step aside for another commercial from our friends at MDH, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes with Ryan Link and Kenny Suter here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I don't understand what you guys see in him. I feel like it's just because he's a farmer, everybody, and they think he's set or whatever.
But see, from that aspect, I think that's where I was different from the others. I didn't mention. He made the comment once about something. He's like, he said I was different because I didn't ask for money. No, you never even asked him for money. And that may have also been part of the problem, that I didn't, when it came to things like that, I didn't need him. I don't know.
It's not even like he's good looking. No offense.
No, I get that. No, and after he posted that,
Welcome back to the National Corn Husking event here today, as we have the esteemed winner of the Illinois State contest, Ryan Link. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. You told me 3 times that you had not signed a form to appear here. However, we forced you to do it because you're family. So already you've complained to me 3 times that you didn't want to be on here. You bragged twice yesterday and twice today about beating me in a competition where we didn't even go against each other. How does it feel to actually win your class?
Pretty good.
Anything else?
No, not really.
Anyway, you always come and hang out with your Steven doing all the corn events.
Yeah.
Why do you keep on coming around hanging out with the shellers and everything like that?
Because it's fun.
Because it's fun?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to sit there and just play with your eyelashes like that? Trying to look pretty for the females around here, I bet. 100%. Oh, yeah. 100%. He's getting to the age. Who needs corn? Who needs anything else like that? Ryan the lady killer over here.
Kenny, when ladies see you, they start running.
Yeah, towards me.
No, away from you. Into the cornfield.
Happens to the best of us.
Not me, only you.
Not me. Oh, obviously not. So, what grade are you in this year?
6.
Sixth. You gonna play any basketball now?
Nope.
No, of course not. Anything else other than sit around and play video games?
Yeah, football.
How was that going this year?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. What's your record?
We suck. We won like one game.
Hey, but you at least have won one game. You didn't go undefeated or defeated completely.
Almost.
Hey, as long as you win at least one, that's fine.
We only won by 1 touchdown.
That's a still win. NFL people win by 1 point.
That's crazy.
How many times are you do realize every time you touch that, it gets picked up.
That means?
That means that every time you touch it like this, they're going to hear that.
Right.
Alrighty. Well, we're winding down here. Probably got about 2 or 3 more minutes. Out of your collection, what stuff do you like the best?
Out of what collection? You mean Steve's collection?
Yes.
Probably my sheller.
I was going to say, I said your collection because you do have a new sheller that is yours. What's the difference between that one and kind of the ones that he has?
Because the ones that he has is like end of it. Yeah, individually. And like there's one where it's only for corn, and then the other one he has is just for like shredding the corn after you get it off the knob. But mine has 3 different ones where you can either shred the spine of the corn or bones from chickens.
Mm-hmm.
And you can shred, and you can still grind the corn and stuff and put it in the other thing too.
So it's kind of a 3-in-1 sheller instead of, have to have multiples at the same time, kind of like he does.
Yeah.
So are you planning on trying to get any more growing up?
Maybe.
Maybe. I did see that you're proud to sell a couple of his books down there while he was interviewing.
Yeah.
Which one did you sell?
I don't know. the Huskers something.
The History of Iowa Husking?
No.
No. The Huskers Association Handbook?
No.
So I'm just going to keep on saying words, and you're going to keep on saying no?
No.
Yeah, there we are. Anyway, thank you, Ryan, for coming by on this forced interview.
Oh, you're welcome.
How did you do today for nationals?
I got 3rd.
3rd. You got 3rd. So why didn't you get 1st?
Because I'm just not that guy.
You're just not that guy.
Just not that guy, pal.
Alrighty, we'll take a quick break and be back here on TSSR Game Time Live. Thanks, Ryan Link, for the second worst interview I've ever done before, because the first is going to be next, as Elizabeth Suter will be up for the interview right after this on TSSR Game Time Live.
Every day, we walk through these doors, not knowing what waits. It's not easy, but we do it every day because our mission is you. Providing you compassionate care and providing you the best possible patient experience. McDonough District Hospital.
MTC Communications is building a high-speed fiber network in our community, and we're putting priority on the areas with the greatest interest. That means we need your input to let us know you want us to build fiber in your area first. Experience the speed and convenience of fiber internet by visiting our special website and registering. Let us know you want fiber internet today and make your voice heard.
Welcome back to the National Cornhusking Association tournament here as we get set up, continuing our corn husking that we've done past 2 days. Well, I say I've done. Elizabeth here. My sister got out of it yesterday for a volleyball tournament. How did that go down in Bushnell?
It went pretty well. We tried. It was an all-day tournament, so by the end of the day we were kind of tired.
Yeah, I knew back with all the BTBA, the Traveling Basketball League, all the ones that I did, those ones always were way too long. Did it at least run on time?
It ran pretty fast. We were kind of ahead of schedule, so that was good. We all got done before 3:30ish.
Right, well, that was pretty decent. I do know we're still a little bit behind here for the national tournament, but you were able to come and pick today. How do you think you did?
I think I did pretty well. Not too great because I didn't get to practice beforehand, or I haven't done it in a whole year, so.
Yeah, yesterday I started to do it and realized I haven't done it in 3 years because of my job. And those first couple of corn husks, I just went, oh no, I've forgotten how to do this. But by the end of the time, I was able to get something going. As we'll look through, we've got the shredder going down lane 3 that we are set up on. The people up through when they're done from Iowa, finishing off this tournament. Looking to believe that was the last of the men's 55 older. So I believe we've only got a few left before
just the
end of
men's
the day.
And women's open.
Which we've almost got to 3 o'clock, so we'll only be done like 2 hours later than we thought. Which for corn husking isn't that bad compared to what we normally do.
Late nights in the past years.
Yeah, it's much better. This being in Good Hope today, much different setup than we're used to down in Roseville. A lot easier setup. We didn't have to set up that tent.
Yep.
That big tent we'd always have for registration. We'd get there about 7 o'clock. It'd still be frosted over for another hour and a half while we were there before we'd get set. Seemed like by the time corn husking was started, we'd be tired and done. A little bit easier setup for today, a lot more fun, in my own opinion, because I didn't have to worry about everything. However, you were having to set up.
Isn't this guy kind of tall that does the camera there? Is he still around?
Yep, he just went somewhere over there.
Okay, so I'll find him over that
I think so.
Okay, thanks. You work with him? I checked. And at my age, the thing was like this. I checked. I didn't feel it. I just noticed it now.
Huh.
Give this to him, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. Oh.
Does he need it now?
I think it's it's be over there. It's a different guy than when we work with.
Can I give you each one of these?
I see acute injuries on the field. I see ankle sprains. I see ACL knee injuries, as well as in the clinic. It's very rewarding to see them from on the field injury to rehab to transition back to their event.
Well, that's what happens when you go live.
Sure.
Man mistook us for the news camera guy that was here about 3 hours ago, so I hope they'll be able to find him. I doubt it. I doubt it. He's probably been gone for a good long while.
It's okay, though.
We did have multiple news cameras out here today because it is the 100th anniversary of Illinois and the national contest. So yours truly will be on the live broadcast, hopefully.
Got the fancy sweatshirts.
Got the fancy
for the
sweatshirts.
100th year anniversary.
Yeah, before you guys, greedishly took them all so that you couldn't sell them to anybody today.
Hey, could have got one yesterday. There's still like a kids there's a kid small, and maybe an adult small, but that's about it.
It's kind of like all the racing shirts we have from the Hard Series still left in that trailer right there. It's like mediums, a youth. No, not even a youth, because those ones actually do sell out. A medium, a small, and then 4Xs. It's pretty much all we have left.
I'll have to maybe steal one of them.
You can't fit into a medium.
Yeah, okay. You're funny.
Of course I am. Anyway, so what were your kind of duties today other than husking?
I've had to time a couple of them. At the beginning, before I started picking, I timed a couple of the older women's group, and I gleaned a couple, and I've been running errands for our Mama April. She's been making me do some things, but other than that, just been walking around, putting quarters in the bin for the little kids.
Yep, there's nothing better than that time when Mom's running around. She looks at you and says, "Find a job or I'll find one for you." And you're like, okay, let's keep on moving.
Yep, just walk around till you find someone.
We've had a couple of small issues here that we've had to iron out, but from what people have been complaining about, nothing compared to how bad I thought it would be. A major event like this, I always thought there'd be, issues that pop up every now and then. I'm just happy that everything's kind of gone smoothly. Yeah, there you go.
Nice corn here.
Ear corn placed by Dwayne is going to, I guess, switch it around and put the camera on you.
Nice ear of corn.
So why don't you kind of do a little demonstration about how you would, husk a corn.
Well, you grab the husk. If you're a right-hand picker, grab the husk first with your left hand, half the husk, then grab your right hand with the right part of the husk. You rip it apart as fast as you can. Then grab the end part where you'll snap off the piece of corn with your left and snap it with your right. And toss it over your shoulder to hopefully hope it goes into your wagon.
Now, sometimes I know it doesn't always go into your wagon, as I did have one get thrown across.
It's the poor lady walking by the wagon, hit her in the head.
Oh.
That wasn't in the head. Yeah, no.
Poor lady.
Although I did get him to flinch. Dwayne was over, recording, staring right at me, and I looked over and I said, "Hey, Dwayne, here, catch." We'll take another quick break. We'll be able to show you a little bit more of the corn husking contest as we'll get set here in about 15 seconds. All right.
Can I take this off?
Yep. You're good.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
The National Corn Husking Competition. Richard Humes is with us now, the spearhead, so to speak. A little help anyway, right?
A little help.
But of this whole deal.
My wife was actually the national president, and I was state president, but I've been helping her since I've already done one national. So it took a lot of the load off of me. So
you we were talking before we came on camera. The biggest national event coming into today was 140.
Right.
You're just shy of that.
Right.
But the second biggest at 132.
Yeah, right.
So 132 competitors picking 10 or 20 minutes at a time, right? Today.
Right. Yeah.
So the longest classes are yet to come. The opens.
Yeah, we'll have an open. The men's open will be a 30-minute class.
So we talked a little bit yesterday and Friday, but how much corn are we talking in that 30 minutes that these guys are going to pick?
I would say you're going to see upwards of 700 over today.
So that's 700 pounds, right?
700
Not
pounds.
700 years. 700
No,
pounds.
700 pounds.
And we've got the rows behind us, the lays behind us. How long did you leave those? And we talked, you don't think anybody will get all the way to the end?
No, I don't think anybody will get all the way to the end. I don't remember now, the 400 and some feet. So I don't think, unless it be maybe a kid out of Kansas or a kid out of Missouri, they'll get to the end. They may get close, but that's a long ways to pick through there.
It's a long ways down there. I'm trying to figure out. I saw Kenny. Kenny was one of your competitors today. He qualified yesterday, and he was today. It was funny because I've watched a few people. I haven't been around this before. I watched a few people, and they're very serious. You talk to me about, I look 3 stocks ahead. I try to be ahead. Kenny is there talking, having a conversation with his gleaner, and just having a good old time. This is for everybody, it's kind of a different thing, right? Some people take it more serious than others.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people take it serious than others. And, of course, so I kind of took it serious. I won last year, so I'd like to win this year, and I did. So
you're a 2-time back-to-back champion then.
Right.
So, but that's not the only times you've won, right? You won in years past, too.
Yeah, I won in 2008 in the 50 and up class, and then I won last year in the 75 and up Golden Age,
So 132 people. Did you have any competitors, I should say? Obviously, there's a lot more people here than that.
Oh, yeah. There was.
Did you have any idea that there'd be 132 here today?
No, I didn't, because the last time we held here in Illinois, we had 128. So, and we picked part of them on Saturday. We picked the Golden Agers, men and women, on Saturday last time. And I didn't think we'd have that many pickers. We just come out of the COVID. A lot of people, price of gas is high, and a lot of people don't want to travel that far, but we had a nice crowd.
Well, we talked yesterday. You're kind of centrally located in Illinois. The states, name off all the states. I know South Dakota's involved, Kansas, Missouri,
Nebraska,
Ohio, Nebraska,
Indiana,
Iowa,
Michigan,
of course.
And
Ohio.
In Ohio, did I say Ohio?
Yeah, you said Ohio.
But
there's actually 9 states.
9 states.
But we had some people in from Mississippi that picked here today, and we had some people in from Oklahoma. They come in out of Oklahoma. Since they don't hold a state contest, they got to come to our state to qualify so they can pick in the nationals.
Gotcha. So there are some people, some outliers from other states that do come and take part. Now, are those homegrown Oklahomans or are those transplant Oklahomans?
No, he originally was born and raised in Indiana, and his folks went to Oklahoma, settled in Oklahoma. He's an Amish at one time, and they left the Amish to live modern like we do. So.
Let's talk a little bit about the contest and how we were talking Friday. You're pretty much a historian, I felt like, of how this contest came about. It's a lot different now than it was when it started over 100 years ago, or at 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, Henry Wallace started in 1921, and he said there was one or two things that was going on. Either the bushel shrank or the fields got smaller of how much corn they could pick in a day. And Henry Wallace owned Wallace Farmer Partner Seed. He was Secretary of Agriculture under FDR, and he was also Vice President under FDR. So in 1922, they started a contest in Iowa, and then other states slowly come in. And we've been fortunate here in Illinois. We've held 3 nationals. We held one in 25, 32, and 41. Burgess, Illinois, north of us, held the first one, and they thought there was 50,000 people there. And you look at the form of transportation, but a lot of people come in on the railroad years ago. But then you look in Marshall, Missouri, they held in 1938, and they say they had over 40 acres of parked cars. And
That's a lot of parked cars.
That's a lot of parked cars. And we're talking 1938. Look at their form of transportation. It really wasn't that great.
Yeah. Did they still have iron wheels then, or were they on rubber?
No, they was rubber wheels by then. But, people would show up. The men would show up in 3-piece suits. The women would show up all dressed up fancy. And one of the things that I always thought was kind of neat, they used to take a tiling machine and trench for the restrooms. Well, they put up sides on it, but they didn't put up tops on it. Well, the blimp started coming in. And the women said, nope, this ain't going to go. We got to have a top on our restroom.
Right. I can appreciate that. I understand that. Now, when the contest started, it also, you're doing 30 minutes for open now. It was 80 minutes back in the day?
It was 80 minutes. That had to be one of the most grueling contests. There was no stopping for water. There was no stopping to rest or nothing. You picked as hard as you could in 80 minutes. And they said some of those guys was picking 60 ears a minute. That I just can't visualize that. That is one a second.
400-foot rows wouldn't hold any candle.
Oh no,
to that,
they laid off 80 rod rows, and they'd usually make a whole loop.
For anybody who, I mean, most people watching this, 80 rod, or in a rod is 16.5 feet, right? So,
right.
So 80 times 16.5 is a long ways.
Right.
So, as you look back now, is there anybody doing this now that would be willing to try that 80-minute thing?
Oh, I'm sure that the Amish would, yeah.
Are there any of your champions that would be willing to do that?
10 years ago, I would have been great for it, but not now.
Well, there's a whole lot of help with Nutrient Ag is on the side of this. Cole Implement's got a tractor here. It takes a whole lot of help from the area to make this thing happen.
Oh yeah, and then one of our big sponsors, I will say this, was it originally started out as a National Corn Husking Museum in Kewanee, and now it's Kewanee Historical Museum up there. They donated quite a bit of money for us to put this contest on.
Well, I know the Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau helped you publicize it a little bit, and Jacques was a lot of help, and that's who I went to and said, hey, who do I need to talk to about trying to do this? And posters and all that kind of stuff is invaluable kind of advertising.
Oh yeah, they furnished us advertisement on posters and stuff, just a tremendous amount, and then strung posters all over the country. And I think it really helped our crowd of people today.
So as you look at the day, I know you're happy with the number of participants. What about the crowd? Are you happy with the crowd?
I thought we had a nice crowd today.
I know the FFA's been cooking pork chops. Sam DeCounter's down there cooking, and they're pretty good.
Yes, they was.
They're pretty good. And Sam said that they could hardly keep up yesterday, and I think they've been busier today. I was down there earlier, and they were sending in to get another 100 buns.
Wow.
So
great.
They're selling a little bit of food, so that's a plus, right? And you had some T-shirts and some hats, and you're pretty much sold out of those. I did get a hat, but the T-shirts and the sweatshirts, I think, are pretty much gone.
Yeah, pretty much gone.
So how often does the National happen here now? Now that we're in the new style, so to speak. There was a little gap there. Now you're in a new style. How often does it happen here?
Well, this is our third one for here. We have one in Fairview. No, our fourth one. We have one in Fairview. We have one in Monmouth, and we have one down by Roseville. And I think it was 2009 we had the one by Roseville, and now we're here today. So usually about 9 or 10 years. We went a little longer than that because some of the other states want it back in the second time, and I don't know.
So this is a pretty nice place to have it, though. You got a nice barn to use, and the place is beautiful here, isn't it?
Beautiful place. The Lewis Farm was willing to let us use their farm, and I mean, just a beautiful, beautiful location for one. A lot of people's commented about the area where we're holding the contest at.
Well, Richard, I greatly appreciate you coming and talking to us. Thanks for letting us be here. I think Kenny might be asleep back there, but I'm not really sure. He's lounging around. He's probably wore out. I mean, he did point out. Now you can attest to this because he's mentioned it. But you can point out, and Kenny, I can't hear you very well, but you can say something in response to this if you want to. But he was talking about the difference between 10 minutes and 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Because this is the first time he's done the 20-minute deal. Because now he's old, like the rest of us, and has to do the 20-minute thing. And he said that it is a whole lot more work than 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, I guess it's twice as much, right?
And I picked in the 30 minutes. Oh yeah. By the time you get that 20 minutes or get close to the 20-minute end of the 20-minute class, you know you picked if you picked hard.
Well, I'll tell you what. We appreciate being here, and hopefully we can get some footage of who ends up. Okay, I don't know if you want to do this or not, but we're going to say who's your pick for Open National Champion?
Boy, that's a tough one. Kid by the name of Guthrie out of Kansas, Frank Kennepin down in Illinois. There's a young guy out of Missouri. it'll be a fight out there in that 30-minute class.
Well, Frank Hennefit's won this thing a few times, and he's from this area, right? I mean, essentially from this area.
Right.
So, is it surprising to you that maybe it isn't any more well known in this area than it is, with the national champion being from here as many times as Frank has been?
I think so. Yeah, it's rather surprising that people didn't know it. But like Frank said, I'm getting to be older, and he said I knew that these kids was going to come up and beat me someday. And his boy will be here out of Iowa, and he's a good picker too. I've never seen him beat his dad, but he's a good picker.
Well, let's talk about, we've talked about family a few times today with Kenny, and he's had some of his family on here talking as we were waiting, to get some more people on and showing some more videos and so on. His mom is a picker. This is really a family-oriented thing, isn't it?
Oh, yes. My youngest boy was a national champion in the boys' youth, and then my wife has picked, and I had a couple other boys that's picked over the years. So,
I mean, really, we're performing an art today that has to be passed down at this point, right? It's not really used anymore, so it has to be passed down,
definitely.
Right? And that makes it kind of a family special event, doesn't it?
I think it's a dying art. I don't know how many more years it'll hang on. It went for 20 years the first time, and then it was gone for about 18 years, and then it started again. It's been going again since 1970. I don't know. I hope to see it survive, but I don't know.
Well, the big thing is what you said, is finding people willing to step up and help, right?
Right, step up and help, and people. The problem is our farms are getting bigger and they're fewer and far between, so people move to town and they don't think much of it, or God, it was a burden when I was a kid growing up. I don't want to work on a farm. I don't want to pick corn by hand, so.
Now, how many people this is the only time they do it all year? I mean, obviously you probably practice a little bit, or some people who want to be champions, but I would imagine there's probably a lot of these people. Like, I coached baseball, and there was kids that didn't touch a baseball bat until baseball practice started. I mean, is it kind of the same thing with some of this
I think
stuff?
it's kind of the same thing with corn husking. I go to some of the farm shows and put on a demonstration for people how it was done years ago, and then I'll usually start a couple of weeks beforehand. So I think I started about 2 weeks ahead of time this year, and I picked 4 or 5 days one week, and the next week or last week I picked 3 days. So I don't know. It's better if you can get 2 or 3 days, 2 or 3 times each week that you pick, and then I try to stretch mine into
practice, right?
Practice makes perfect.
That's right. Well, Richard, thank you very much. We'll be back here to Good Hope, Illinois, the Lewis Farm, for the National Corn Husking Competition in just a couple minutes.
All right. Well, we are back. Had a little technical difficulty there. Wyatt Parks is joining us. He's from the West Prairie FFA chapter. Wyatt, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Well, you are the Sentinel.
I
correct?
am.
So, can you tell us? Can you say what your speech is in opening ceremonies? Do you know it?
I do not know it yet by memory, but I feel like I'll get it down by the end of the year.
I put you on the spot, and I didn't give you any heads up on that, did I?
No, not really.
So, how long have you been out here today?
I've been out here since about 7 in the morning.
How many? Do you have any idea how many pork chops you sold today?
I have no idea how many today, but over the weekend we sold about 550.
That's a lot of pork chops.
Yeah,
how
it
many
is.
of those have you had to wrap?
I haven't really been wrapping. I've been more of putting the pork chop on the bun and letting the younger kids wrap them.
Oh, I see how it is. So you've been delegating.
Yeah, kind of.
So what grade are you in?
I'm a junior in high school.
You're a junior. So you've had to deal with Mr. DeCounter for 3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, just about 3 years.
He's a pretty good one, isn't he?
Yeah, I like him. He's a good ag teacher. And
you've got a couple pretty good ag teachers at West Prairie, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
What is it about FFA that makes you come and participate in these kind of things?
I like all the opportunities it gives you, all the lessons it teaches you, and what it can just help you do later in life.
I'm going to keep talking here, but I'm going to see if I can change the camera a little bit, pick a different camera, and get some people a little different view of what's going on right now. There's one of the pickers going right now as we speak, 50 and older. So have you ever done corn husking before?
I have not.
Did you try it? Did you try it this weekend?
I did. I competed yesterday and today.
So how'd it go? How many pounds did you pick yesterday, and were you better today?
Yesterday I think I picked 28 pounds, and then today I think I got around 60, 64-ish.
So twice as much.
Yeah, I feel like yesterday was a really good practice for today.
So I know there was some of you kids, girls and boys, from the FFA chapter taking part in yesterday and today. Who did the best? Do you know?
Yesterday, Braden DeCounter, our chapter and section president, did the best, but today I did.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now Braden was going to talk to us some, and he ended up going to football game and all kinds of stuff yesterday. There's a lot of stuff going on for you West Prairie kids this weekend, wasn't there?
Yeah, there is.
Do you help with a lot of these? I know they do the pork chops and stuff a lot at the football games too, right? And a lot of stuff. Do you help? Is this part of your guys' chapter activities to be involved in this kind of stuff?
Yes, it is part of the activities, doing all the cooking, grilling, and just community work too.
So when the corn husking competition came up and the opportunity came to be out here, obviously you're going to come out and help because you're active in FFA, but what's it been like to be out here and see the different age groups of people and what's been going on in the fields?
It really helped me realize how big of a sport it is. I didn't really think anything of it beforehand, but being out here this weekend, it was fun seeing how many people really enjoy the sport.
Now you're in FFA. I don't know how involved you are in agriculture production-wise, but how would you like to pick 1,000 or 100 acres of corn by hand like this?
Oh, that would be a lot of work. Just doing it for 10 minutes, my forearms are burning, and I couldn't think I could do much more.
So what's your goals? You said the things you learn in FFA help you. What's your goal? Have you learned anything from FFA that maybe has pointed you in a direction of what you want to do when you get out of high school?
With FFA, it really helped me realize what career I want to go to with a lot more into agriculture than I thought I wanted to.
And one of the things I think that people don't understand about FFA, because I was a city-ish kid. My grandparents were farmers, but I lived in the city. I think the kids don't understand about FFA is all the things outside of agriculture or production agriculture that it teaches you. Speaking, parliamentary procedure, science. There's so much more to FFA than just corn, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is a lot more than just the basic agriculture part of it. There's so many other opportunities and ways to branch out in FFA.
So there's a lot more contests than there were when I was in FFA when Mr. DeCounter was in FFA. I went to Bushnell, he went to Northwestern at the time, so we're old. There's a lot more activities now than there were then. What's your favorite one that you get to take part in?
So far my favorite is probably forestry or soil judging.
Now, we did have soil judging. We didn't have forestry. Soil judging, people are like, oh, it's dirt. How? There's a lot more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Once I learned about it, I really liked what it was and what it was all about.
So if you look at this field here, and you see the corn, you see there's a pond back here behind us, what would you expect this soil to be like here? What would you expect it to be?
Well, obviously we can see it's prime farmland and good place for a homestead, but I don't really know much about soils. I'm just getting into it, though.
Oh, so you can't say if it's loam or whatever?
Probably not.
I think you know, and I think you just don't want anybody to give you a hard time about being wrong.
Well, yeah, that, and if there's a hole, I could probably get a general guess, but not exact.
It's hard to tell when you can't. We might point out, too, what you said, Wyatt. They dig a hole with a backhoe. Generally, it's 3 feet wide or so, and you get down in the hole, and you can see the layers of dirt. And there's a lot more to it than just, okay, there's corn growing here. We know it's black, right? We know it's black dirt, whatever. There's a whole lot more to it. Even when there is black dirt, there's a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yeah, the first time I jumped in one of those holes for soil judging, I was like, wow, there are so much going on, and just the thing people see below their feet.
Yeah, and the layers are really, in a lot of places, are really very defined, right? I mean, it's amazing how you can see there's the topsoil, black dirt is 6 inches or 8 inches or whatever, and then the colors of the dirt change so much.
Yeah, it is, and what I learned is that all depends on how well it's drained and what type of dirt it is.
Well, Wyatt, I appreciate you coming. Is this, now that you've gotten to do this once, is this something you'd like to try to do again, the corn husking deal, I mean?
Yeah, of course. I really loved it, being able to learn it and getting all the advice from all the older gentlemen here.
Now, you mentioned that this is obviously it's an older gentleman's thing because it's a thing that's been passed down. Your family, not necessarily farmers. Is this something that you think you could do again in the future and maybe try to be a part of?
Yeah, I think I could kind of try to do it more again, try to practice, get better, and really try to get more people involved with it.
Yeah, it is fun. It's amazing to think that, back in and it's easy to understand why farms were 60 or 80 acres back in the day instead of 1,000 or 2,000, right?
Yeah, it is. With this equipment nowadays, it's just so much easier than doing this.
Yeah, it's way different. I mean, horse-drawn wagons with boards and throwing it in and shelling everything by hand. It would have been a completely different, amazing thing to have to do that much work like that back in the day. But well, Wyatt, I appreciate you coming and talking to us. What's going on in FFA right now? Is there any big events coming up or contests?
One big event that we like having and trying to get more people involved in the community is our haunted high around our school's track and field track.
When is that?
That is the 22nd, I believe.
Okay, and what does that involve? Is it trick-or-treating, or is it just a haunted house kind of thing, or what?
It's trick-or-treating for the younger kids. There are groups of high schoolers that get to dress up and pass out candy.
So how many years have you guys been doing that?
Oh, I don't know. We've been doing it for a long time, and it's really fun, hoping we get to continue it.
Well, Kenny Suter just pulled up and dropped off a bottle of water. I'm not real sure why he dropped the bottle of water off. I think he might be going to get somebody else to talk to. So I was going to offer to give you a ride back, so we'll have to keep talking until he gets back. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so what else is going on at West Prairie FFA? Obviously, National Convention's pretty quick, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the National Convention's coming up at the end of the month, close to Halloween.
Have you been to National Convention, and do you get to go to National Convention since you're an officer?
I have been to National Convention once last year, and I am going again for being active, not just because I'm an officer, though.
Gotcha. So I'm old. I've mentioned this already, but it was in Kansas City when I was in school. It had been in Kansas City since its inception, pretty much, and I was actually a national delegate when it decided we looked for a different place to have it. Is it in Indy or Louisville now?
It's in Indianapolis this year, but I believe the contract for the city is just about to come to a close, so it might be moving to a different city near here soon.
So, it was in Indy last year also?
Yes, it was.
So what was Indy like for the FFA kids? I mean, that convention center there is really a nice place.
Yeah, it is. It was me being from a small town going into that big city. It was just a big shock of how different everything is there.
The seeing that many blue and gold jackets is pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, looking out on the street from a window and just seeing a sea of corduroy blue, it's really amazing seeing how involved everybody is.
So, did you find yourself reading the back of, like, because when I went 3 or 4 times to the National Convention. It seemed like every time I caught myself reading the back of every jacket just to see how many states and how many different towns that I saw. Do you catch yourself doing that when you see the jackets like that?
Yeah, I often do, and it amazes me how far people come just for FFA and everything about it.
What's the farthest away that you remember? You remember a Puerto Rico? Did you see a Puerto Rico jacket?
I do not remember seeing a Puerto Rico jacket, but I do think I saw a Washington jacket once, and I just didn't realize how far they would come just for this.
Yeah, it's a long ways away, and people come from all over. 20,000 members. I don't know how big is it now? Do you know? It was like 22,000, I think, back in the day. So.
Well, I think last year at just one of the smaller conventions, there was maybe 54,000 people in one big stadium.
Holy smokes, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
They have a huge concert now, though, too, for that thing, don't they?
Yeah, they do, and it's really fun to watch and just be a part of.
When I was at the national delegate, the last time I went was, I think, one of the first times they had a concert, and it was the Kentucky Headhunters. You don't even know who that is, do you?
I do not.
You should go search YouTube or your music channel and search Kentucky Headhunters, the Kentucky Headhunters, and maybe go ask Mr. DeCounter, see if he even knows who the Kentucky Headhunters are.
I'll make sure to do that.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, Wyatt, I'll let you get out of here. I think Kenny should be coming back here in just a minute. You can hang out. I could find somebody. You want to interview somebody? I'll find somebody for you to interview.
I don't know. I think I'll just get back to selling some pork chops.
You're going to stick to selling pork chops.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that I blame you. Yeah. You want to watch a video here before you take off?
Sure.
I don't know if we got any I don't think we got any video of you, but let's see what we got here. I don't know what Kenny's played for sure. Let's do some more of today, Sunday highlights. We'll see what one pops up. So, now, can you see that?
Yeah, I can.
So, how is her method similar to yours, the same as yours, or what's the?
Her method is obviously a lot better than mine was. I just took tips and advice and then kind of forgot them halfway through.
You know, you're doing it as fast as you can do it, obviously, if you're trying to beat your friends and everything. But did you find yourself thinking, man, there's got to be an easier way?
Yeah, I did a few times, and I kind of slowed down and thought about it and then implied those strategies I thought about.
So what was the hardest part, getting the husk off or breaking it off the stock?
After a while, breaking it off was really hard because hands were so tired, my thumbs hurt, but shucking it is difficult all the way through.
So did you hit anybody with any ears of corn? Because Kenny threw an ear of corn over the wagon and almost hit a lady.
Oh, I did. I don't think I did. There wasn't too many people around when I did mine. I hope I didn't.
So, what did you learn? If you're going to practice this and try this again, what did you learn as the thing you want to work on next time?
Trying to get more grip on the actual ear to snap it off the stock.
Were the ears hanging or were they up?
A lot of them were hanging, but the ones that were up were high, and I had to reach up because I'm not the tallest person.
So you need short corn.
Yeah, I do.
You need short corn. Well, some of this corn is, I don't know how tall that lady is, but the guy behind her is kind of tall. That corn's a solid 7 feet tall, I think, isn't it? 6.5, 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's real impressive what all those chemicals and growing enhancers can do for the corn.
Well, and as windy as it's been today, I'm surprised that some of it hasn't laid down.
Yeah.
But we're still standing good and still picking as we're getting ready to do some picking right here across the way from us. And so we'll let Wyatt get out of here. Hey, Amy, would you turn that camera to focus on those people for me? We'll get Amy to turn the main camera here as we're done with that video, and we'll do the interview camera and get it back to, there we go. We'll watch this go through here. So we'll let you hear some audio as they're announcing some winners and so on in the back. Wyatt, I don't know where Kenny went. Are you young enough to walk back to the barn?
Oh, yeah, I am.
You sure?
Yep.
All right, Wyatt, thank you very much for talking to us. Greatly appreciate it. You can tell Mr. DeCounter if he gets a free minute, he can come down and talk to us too.
All right, I will do that.
Right, thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
So Wyatt Parks coming to talk to us. Mr. Kilburn is walking by. You'll see him walk through the screen in a second. I just hollered at him. I don't know. He's walking this way. We'll see if he's willing to put on a headset. You willing to put on a headset and talk for a minute? I'm going to ask you. We're live right now, so I'm going to ask you the most difficult questions I can think of asking you.
Well, I'll try and have a good answer.
Here's the first one. How's it feel to be old? Because you were a teacher when I was in school.
You know,
I mean, barely. And in all honesty, you were barely a teacher, but you were a teacher.
I was a teacher at that time, yes. When you come to events like this, it sinks in.
It does,
you know. A couple years ago, I had a freshman walk in the door, and I was like, man, she looks familiar. I go, what's your name? And she goes, well, you taught my mom. And I'm like, I'm too young to be teaching the second generation.
But we're not.
But we're young at heart anyway.
Yeah, there you go. You got a stopwatch around your neck.
Yeah, I'm out here.
Does that mean you've been put to work today?
I have. I got drafted, being a timer, and kind of a judge, running a crew today. So it's been a lot of fun.
132 participants. Richard was pretty stoked about that. He said the biggest they know of is 140, so this is right there with it.
This is up there, and it's good to see a turnout like that. And I like to see the amount of young kids out here doing it because it's a lost art. It's getting in touch with the roots of where we came from. You know, they see these big combines out in the field, but back in the day, this is the way it was done.
Well, Monmouth Roseville on your FFA on your sweatshirt there, and you were at Northwestern. That shows you how old we are.
Yeah, that's dating us a little bit.
Yeah, that's dating us a little bit. You were at Northwestern back in the day, and you've been in the area watching this kind of stuff, and Roseville's a pretty popular hotbed, I guess, for this corn husking stuff. How did you get roped into being down here today?
Well, you know, there's a lot of people helping out today, a lot of different groups. Had a couple alumni members on our Monmouth Roseville Alumni Association. Says, hey, you doing anything? Can you come help out? I'm like, sure. We'll come out. It's a nice day. So then I got a few kids out here working, and hopefully next year I get a few more kids out here. Maybe even participate.
Well, the alumni associations are a huge help, right, for every ag teacher. When they ask for a little, it's kind of nice to be able to give something back to them, I imagine.
Right, especially mine, because I'm always asking them, you know, whether it's financially to support the kids to go to trips, help out if I need a driver or if I need judges for different CDE events. So when they ask, I say when and where.
Right. So the corn husking deal, this is, you mentioned it's a dying art. I mean, it has to be. We don't use it anymore. And it is an art because I feel like anytime you're doing something that maybe it was used as the way to do it, but it's not anymore, it becomes art. It doesn't become used, right? So for the most part, this is an art form that these guys have kept alive throughout the generations.
Absolutely.
And seeing these kids get involved, that's the only way to keep this kind of thing going, because if we don't get young kids involved, and it's an FFA and it's an everything, if you don't get young kids involved, it goes away.
Exactly. And if you look at a lot of these young kids that are out here today, it's grandma and grandpa's doing it, mom and dad's doing it, so they want to do what they're doing. And you know, if that trend keeps up, then this will be around for a while.
Well, we've got a picker going on right now. What's been the biggest number you've seen so far this weekend? Do you know?
As far as weight wise?
Yeah.
You know, all I just see is a lot of corn in the wagon. So
you don't have to follow it to the scale. Is that what you're telling me?
Right. I send my gleaner. I have him do that. You know, that way he can learn what's going on the backside of this.
Okay, so how full is the fullest wagon been?
Quarter
full, half full?
I'd say quarter. You know, I saw some quarter yesterday when the seasoned veterans were out there, and it's amazing how much I've learned just watching them. You know, we talked about how it's an art form. There's a sweet science to it. You know, they're not moving their arms very much. It's just a little flick of the wrist. They listen for the corn to hit the back of the wagon, and they're looking to the next year, and they're just moving right along.
Now, Richard Humes told me he's won 3 championships in 50 and over, as he won today. But he told me that he's looking 3 stocks ahead all the time, and his hands never move more than 6 inches.
That's correct.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? There's a lot of hand-eye coordination to this.
I mean, you're in there, and you're just tossing that ear. And I told Kenny Suter, because he hit some poor old lady almost with an ear that went over the top. I said, you know, I would think, you want to do this. You got to be fast. You have to do that minimal thing. But if you're not real fast, you got to take the time to make sure you get every ounce you can get in the wagon, right?
Correct. If you're not fast, be clean.
Yeah,
and don't leave any for the cleaners to pick up.
And that's one of the things that was amazing to me is like, so he threw an ear of corn. It was about this size that I've got. He threw an ear of corn over the wagon, and the gleaner said, yeah, I have to have that. So this ear of corn takes away like 3 ears of corn, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like 3 times the weight or something like that, isn't it?
Right. See, if you're not fast, it's all about just being clean and just put everything in the wagon, don't miss anything, and then maybe you can make some stuff up on the back end for those who do make some mistakes.
So, and besides the corn you miss, the corns you leave if you miss an ear on the stalk, that's added to it, right? And if you drop something on the ground, that's added to it. And
correct.
And then they take the extra husks and everything is also weighed, right?
Yep, they clean that down there at the shelling side.
So all that stuff, it's like, barrel race, you knock a barrel off, you get added 5 or 10 seconds, right?
Right.
If you knock a pole off and horse jumping, you get an extra 5 or 10 seconds. This, instead of adding weight, they're going to take your weight away from you.
Yeah, they're going to take it away from you.
So it's a really cool thing. I mean, I remember numerous years ago when I worked at the paper that I think Frank Hennefit was one of them that won at the time, and I remember doing some coverage of that event then. But I had never been to one of these. Watching these guys that are really fast, I mean, watching the kids is fun, but watching these people that are really fast, guys, girls, otherwise, whatever, it's amazing the amount of time. Richard said that he would practice when he won his first national championship. He was practicing 3 days a week, 45 minutes at a time. He'd go through 45 minutes. He goes, I only picked for 10, but I practiced for 45 straight. He goes, then when it came contest time, that 10 minutes was like picking water.
Right, because, if you don't do this on, practice like that a little bit, for the young kids, 10 minutes doesn't seem that long, but when they start hitting that 7-8 minute mark, you can see them slowing down a little bit. Then the same thing when you move up to the 20 minutes. Those last 3 minutes sometimes is a struggle.
Yeah, Kenny just said that this is the first year he had to do 20, and he said that last 10 minutes is rough.
Yeah, sometimes I get the oddest looks when we're doing the 20-minute segment, and I go, you got 10 minutes left, and they're like, oh.
Their heads just drop.
I was hoping you said there's only 5 left.
Yeah, 5 or 2 or 1 or something. I don't care if I only have a quarter of what I should have. I'm ready to be done.
Well, I guess back in the old days they went for 80 minutes.
Yeah, that's
Could
what we
you
talked
imagine
about.
80 minutes?
Like 4,000 pounds of corn in 80 minutes or something like that, they said.
It's crazy.
That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. 60 ears of corn. He said that back in the day, the old timers would be 55 to 60 ears of corn at the end, per minute, at the end of the 80 minutes.
Isn't that something?
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
That just shows you how much harder working generations in the past were.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody today that would, I mean, obviously there's nobody today that would do it because we cut the contest to 30 minutes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, our former generations, our families previous, worked so hard.
They did.
We don't realize how good we have it. We think that we have it so bad and we want to make it easier on our We have it so much easier than the people that got us to this point.
Oh, absolutely. And technology is the big one on that front end of it.
Yeah, no doubt. National FFA Convention's coming up.
Yep. Next 2 weeks.
So you excited about that? Do you still get excited about that stuff?
I do, because every year I go, I look through it through the eyes of my freshmen. And they're so shocked and awed. They hear me talk about the National Convention within the first couple weeks of school when I do my FFA unit. And like, there's the old man. He's talking about all these blue and corduroy jackets. And then when they get there and then they see it, and it's like, oh, I understand what the old man's talking about now. They see California, Texas, Minnesota.
Wyatt Parks was just here from Northwestern. I said, Wyatt, do you remember seeing a Puerto Rico jacket? He said, no, I don't remember. I remember seeing Puerto Rico jackets. That's the thing. That's why I said you find yourself just every jacket that walks by. You look at the back of it, right?
It's second nature.
Yeah, you look at the back to see what state they're from or whatever, and what town, or what, if they're association, if they're a state officer, or whatever the case may be, or part of the state officer team. That's part of the best part of being at a national convention, or even a state convention for that matter.
Absolutely.
It's looking at all the jackets and where people are from.
It was, I think it was like my 20th convention. I finally ran into an FFA member from Alaska. And so I had a 1-hour conversation with that individual about, okay, what's agriculture like up there? And it's just nice to get a different feel of what agriculture is in different parts of our country.
Yeah, and FFA isn't the same it's the same, but it's not the same, right?
Correct.
Because you have focuses of different things, because that's what's important to a region. Washington is maybe more apple focused, more fruit production focused, whatever. Florida's more strawberries, and Illinois is corn. That kind of stuff that we don't maybe think about because we're here all the time, right?
Correct. We're corn, soybeans, cow, and hogs. But it is nice to talk to, rice farmers from down south and all the different segments of the industry. Then that way the kids can realize how big the ag industry really is. The one thing that's consistent, though, is the leadership, the public speaking skills, the networking that you get out of the FFA program.
Well, that's one of the things that I told when Wyatt and I were talking. I asked him what he liked about it. I talk a lot now. I radio, and I do this broadcasting stuff, and I announce, and I run businesses. I look back, and none of that would be possible without FFA.
Absolutely.
And that's not – none of that stuff is anything that the average person thinks of FFA about, right?
Correct.
They think farming, and that's what they think of. But everything that FFA helped me with was everything that nobody thinks about.
Right. And for me, where I'm at, I don't have a lot of farm kids. So I use leadership, public speaking as a way to get them in, and then that's my method of talking about agriculture and educating them about agriculture. Because, I understand that, 85% of the students I have in class are going to go back and do anything production related. But you all like to eat.
Yeah.
So you have to appreciate the industry if you like to eat.
Let's see what our other camera, before I let you go here. Let's see. We've got a bunch of folks up on our they both look pretty much the same. Everybody's out of camera view, and that's kind of the way it's been. It's been a hard deal. We came here not knowing what to expect. Kenny's been around it a long time, but I knew that it would be difficult to get cameras, and so we ended up coming on late with live. So we're live right now, but we came on late and have a bunch of footage to show.
Right.
This thing is spread out over a really big area.
Yeah, the lands that they call them, where everybody does the picking, it spreads you out quite a bit.
And it's just, so for video purposes, it's pretty hard. We got some good video wireless transmitters, but the corn breaks up the signal.
Correct.
So we got down the row about 150 or 200 feet. It's a 1,000-foot transmitter, but it won't go through the corn.
Right.
So
you might have to consider drones.
Yeah. Well, we actually had a guy bring a drone today, but we had a hard time with the internet service getting stuff brought over. So that's obviously, if we do this again, that's what's going to happen. But before I let you go, what's some stuff you guys have coming up for FFA? I know that I talked to Wyatt. They've got a Hulett at a school deal where it's handing out candy to kids on the 22nd. Do you guys have anything coming up that either for the community or for yourself?
Well, right now I guess a group of my ag sales team, we're getting prepped for districts next week. That's coming up, and we kicked off our fundraiser last week, selling some fruit. So yeah, we're staying a little busy. Plus homecoming week's coming up. That's always a little distracting.
Your homecoming week is just now coming up?
Yeah.
The last week of the football season's homecoming?
Well, our week 7 was originally going to be our homecoming, but they decided not to field a team, so we lost that game.
Well, that's tough.
So we have senior night, peak out night, homecoming, all on the same night.
Well, it's going to be a fun night then.
It's going to be a great night.
All right. Well, Mr. Kilburn, I greatly appreciate you coming and talking to us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
I
appreciate it.
I greatly appreciate it. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
It has been a while.
I saw you yesterday. I was like, hey, I know that guy. It's been a while. Do you still live around here, or do you live up north now?
I still live out Little Swan Lake.
Well, look at you go.
This nice little nice medium drive to work. So
can't get away from the area.
Can't get away from the area. It's in my blood.
I understand. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH, in just a few minutes. And I'm going to make Kenny get back on here for a few minutes, or we'll talk for a few seconds and see if I can get my mouse to work here. It's been a problem all day, and I'm not really sure why we're having that problem. So I want to thank Mr. Kilburn for coming and talking to us, and we'll be back here in about a minute or two after a couple words from MDH.
Every day, we walk through these doors, not knowing what waits. It's not easy, but we do it every day because our mission is you. Providing you compassionate care and providing you the best possible patient experience. McDonough District Hospital.
Welcome back as we wind down our coverage today of the National Corn Husking competition, as we've gotten some results from the youth and the 75-plus timers. Now, I don't know if those results have been told to the competitors yet or not, but I was told that that my grandmother did, in fact, not win, as she walked through and said, "No, I'm not going to win. No, I'm not going to win," all day. And when they started counting up, you're like, "Lois, it's getting close. It's getting close." "No, I'm not going to win. Not going to win." Barely lost. So she'll get second in the Nationals. We'll go probably till about 4 o'clock here. That'll give us a little 2 and 30-minute hour broadcast and pretty much play the rest of the stuff that we haven't played yet, which is some clips from today and a few from tomorrow. I especially saved until both me and Dwayne were on the broadcast to play when I picked, so he can sit there and make fun of me like he loves. So we'll do a quick little timeout so we can get right on the camera, Mr. DeCounter, and we'll be back in about 15 seconds.
After my appointment that day, I just made up my mind that I'm going to have my baby here in Macomb and this hospital, because irrespective of where you're from, who you are, it's just their line of duty care, make you comfortable.
I told about the staff of MDH, they're all good, and you will get all the support you need. This is just the best place for you and your family.
All right, welcome back here to Good Hope, Illinois, the Lewis Farm for the National Corn Husking Competition. And we've been talking corn husking, but we've been talking about a whole bunch of other stuff, and a lot of that stuff has been FFA because there's been a couple ag teachers here and a whole lot of FFA kids here today. One of those ag teachers is from West Prairie High School, Sam DeCounter. And I've known Sam since he was at Northwestern, which oddly enough was when Mr. Kilburn was at Northwestern, right?
When I was a sophomore.
Yeah, Jason is not old.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's old.
Okay,
he's old.
Yeah, you're
he's
right.
Old.
I was gonna try to make him not feel old, but you're right.
He is old.
He's way grayer than both of us are.
Well, it's because I don't have any hair.
Well, that's touche. But in all honesty, he was really young then.
Yes, he was.
He's only probably 4 or 5 years older than us.
Yeah, at that point in time. Yeah, it seemed like he was a lot older at that point in time, but as we've progressed.
It's amazing how different 4 years is when you're 20 and when you're 50.
Yeah.
Or 45 or 40.
Yeah.
You're a couple years younger than me, right?
Just a couple.
Yeah.
Just a couple.
Yeah. So
Nope.
we showed sheep together back in the day. Now, did you ever husk any corn back in the day to feed the sheep with?
I was telling a guy here the other day, and he says, well, you're too young to do any of this. And I said, when we were growing up, my dad made it on 30 acres, and it's not a whole lot different now. But, I mean, we've got a few more acres now. But when we were farming 30 acres, we had a 2 or 3 acre corn plot that we planted with a 2-row planter. And it wasn't big enough to get a combine, or it was too small to get a combine into, even at those days. And my dad and I would go out and shuck a wagon at a time from about this time until we were done with that 2 acres. And we'd feed ear corn and ground ear corn. And so I've done a little bit of it, not to the point of there was breaks involved about every 2 or 3 minutes and lots of conversation. These men and women out here, they
take it pretty darn
they
serious.
get after it now. I mean, it is impressive to watch 20 minutes, and these guys fill these wagons. And I know it seemed like forever, and it probably took Dad and I an hour and a half. But these guys are doing what in 20 minutes what took us an hour and a half to do. It's one of the more impressive things that I've seen.
Well, we're going to watch Kenny Suter here in a few minutes when he's on. We got video of him today, and we have video from him yesterday. We got the video from yesterday available. We're going to watch him here in a few minutes, but he was talking about the fact that this is the first year he did 20 minutes, and he said, holy crap, that's a pretty big
I would say, I mean, to me, 20 minutes doesn't sound like a lot until you are, I mean, it's one right after another, and these guys, I came out and snuck a peek at some of these 21 to 50-year-olds, and boy, they are moving.
Well,
and they're.
I was videoing him, and I was like, man, I'm tired of holding this camera. And then I did that, and I did 3 different angles, and I moved around. I'm like, man, I'm tired of holding this camera. He's got to be getting close to being done. And they're like, 10 minutes remaining. I'm like, holy. I don't know how these guys and girls do this. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. But this is a lost art. I mean, it is an art. It's a dying art. Maybe I should say that they're trying to, it's all a family thing, right? I mean, Wyatt did it for the first time, and Wyatt was like, I really liked it. He goes, I got twice as much today as I did yesterday. So, I mean, this is an opportunity to get some new people involved, too, I think.
Well, and that's what's great about it. And I think that if you come and you look, and I think you ought to put this on your bucket list for in a year or so to do the state competition here in Illinois again. I don't know if it'll be at Lewis's barn again here or at Joel Lewis Farm, but it is kind of neat. And I've kind of thought that if I wasn't trying to cook 300 or 400 pork chops to feed all these people, that I'd give it a whirl. But
you know what? I bet we could find somebody to cook some pork chops for you, so you could do it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And we probably could have sold tickets to see you do it.
You might have. You might have had a bigger crowd. I don't know. But my oldest son did it yesterday. He had no idea what he was doing. He very much enjoyed it. He came back again today and competed. And he told me, he goes, Dad, I think I'm going to come back from college and come back for the state one at least next year. I said, that sounds great. So I think it's something that's pretty neat. It's pretty old school. You get to see a lot of neat things here. Just looking at the wagons go by here, you're looking at some pretty neat pieces of machinery that have been in use for, you're approaching 100 years on probably the one that's going by us right now.
Yeah, and you can't see it because we're zoomed in a little too far there on that one, but they are some of them have been rebuilt and some of them are new, but they are legit old wagons. I mean, they try to make a throwback. Kenny told me, he goes, well, when we were talking about doing it, he goes, I don't know if they're going to use horses or tractors.
Yep.
But he said in the past they use horses at a lot of the national events. So, I mean, it is as realistic as you can get,
yes.
Right?
Oh, I think so. I think it's about as realistic as you can get. Now, the mower that's kind of paving a way for you, that might be a little bit different than tripping over.
They need to have one of those little push mower roller wheel mowers.
There you go.
That's
yep.
what they need.
Yep.
Can you imagine, like I live on a family farm now that back in the day was 240 or 400 acres, something like that back in the day. And I'm talking 1880s. They did that like this.
Yeah.
Can you I can't imagine. We do 2,000 acres and they think, or 4,000 acres or 5,000 acres, that's a lot. But with the equipment we have, it's still faster and less work than doing 400 and 1,800.
Well, and that's what we talk about that a lot in ag classes. And we talk about the history, and especially with ag mechanics, and we talk about where we came from. And I tell people there was big farms back then. 400 acres was a big farm. And I said, you planted everything by hand, you did everything by hand, and you get a lot of confused look. Well, how did you get all that done? You had 10 or 12 people working for you. Yeah. When we talk about farming now, if you've got 10 or 12 people working for you, you're probably farming five digits at least.
Yeah.
And
10 to 20,000
so you're talking about that. But back then, every 400 acres, or basically they talked about every 40 was a hired man, because every 40 you also had 20 sows, and you also had 10 cows and a milk cow and a certain amount of chickens to go along with that. And we've diversified so much. And I think it's nice to get back to this to understand, number one, how much it takes to, physical labor it took to get to the point where we're at now. And do I want to go back to this? No, but it's nice to remember the past just a little bit.
And it kind of humbles you and brings you up, like to maybe appreciate what we have now, right?
Yes, I think so.
I don't know that anybody ever wants to go back, but it's like you said, it's really good to remember it.
Yes.
I mean, to think that our forefathers did this, and this is how this country was built, on just this kind of labor, is utterly amazing.
Well, and the other neat thing is talking to some of the older guys that are here. They remember this. They've gone through it. Larry Ryden says, "I'm not going to go compete. I did that enough years as a kid," and so and that's one of the things that we look at too, is that this is kind of a remembrance for some of the older generation, and I think it does bridge a gap when you see some of these younger kids and younger generations kind of hopping in and being competitive at this.
That's the same thing I say about mowing. I hate to mow because I did it enough as a kid.
Yep.
But this whole deal has been fun, and the people that are involved in it are super nice people. I mean, they all seem to be, super, super nice people.
Yes. They're I don't know if you'll in McDonough County today, I don't think you'll find as many nice people in this little piece of the world as you would anywhere else. You are 100% correct.
They've got the shellers up there. You talked about feeding corn and shelling corn or grinding corn and cobs and the whole bit up or whatever. I mean, things today, that's the same thing. 85 or 90, maybe 95% of kids today, they buy feed. They don't grind feed. They don't even know. They have no idea what that sheller is or why they would ever use it.
And that's the other thing I was talking about is Braden was talking about going to the sheller and getting his corn weighed. He goes, "That thing's a weird piece." I said, "Yeah, I've worked on a crew that shelled corn when I was a kid, or at least helped when we had our own bins, and helped my grandpa when Marlon Pendle would bring his sheller over, and you had cribs of corn, and you still did that. So you're a little bit, there's still that generational gap that you're still seeing there too. But yeah,
I do that same thing with journalism. I was at that. I was the last group to do the whole taking your photos, developing your film, shooting a halftone, and doing all that stuff. And from then on up, I've come to the point where now stuff doesn't even get it goes straight to the paper. You don't even do anything, in the newspaper business. So it's amazing, but it's like that in everything, right? These people that are here today that are 80, 85, that are competing in this contest this weekend have seen so much change in these fields.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing what they've seen and what they've done. And we see a lot of change, but, my grandmother passed away last November when she was 98, and the stories that she could tell, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just amazing. So, well, FFA is obviously kind of your focus. You guys make a lot of pork chops between here and your other events that you do.
Yep.
How many pork chops did you guys cook this weekend between football and here? Do you know?
Right at 650. At 650.
I know Braden came up during the 5 minutes or 10 minutes to go in the football game and said, "Hey, we only have 8 pork chops left."
We were spread a little bit thin yesterday, but we got it done. And no, it's been a good weekend to cook pork chops and be around some pretty nice people. But and it's good. I'm glad we got something like this, as well as everything else. As far as FFA goes, everything's getting more expensive, and taking those kids to national convention and all those state contests that we do, it takes quite a little bit of actual cash money, and this is a good way to give back and still make a little bit extra to get us to do those things.
Well, I asked Mr. Kilburn if National Convention has lost any spice for him. Because, I haven't went as an ag teacher, but I went as a student a lot of times, and every time it was as fun as the last. He said no, he looks forward to it every year. How about you?
He would be, yes, he would look forward to it every year. I look forward to it every year, but my theory in it is not for me. It's to see what the group of kids that we're taking is going to get out of it. There are so many different opportunities there. Juniors and seniors talking to colleges, freshmen and sophomores meeting people from all over the continental and the United States, and seeing people. My oldest son said the other day, he goes, "Oh, darn it, those people from California that we met last year on that bus ride out to the dairy, they're not going this year." He goes, "I was looking forward to meeting back up with them." So, those types of things, that's what excites me about it. And that has, whether it's national convention, state livestock judging, state soils judging, or even our section contest, that's the part that excites me. When we get back on the bus and the kids are really, really excited about what happened, excited that they met somebody new, excited that they did well, whatever that may be. And that's where my excitement comes in. I'm sure that's what Jason meant by that too. As far as me going, I'm getting old enough now that, I don't really look forward to staying 3 days in a hotel room and doing those things, but it is part of the job description, and it is one thing that I think is very, very valuable for the students that we have, and we have a great set, and I think that's why, is because we get them to lots and lots of different things.
Well, you do meet lifelong friends in FFA. There's no doubt about it, and you and I met in
that's
FFA
exactly
back,
what I was
back
going
in
to say.
the day,
Yep.
and then showing livestock
Yep.
at the county fairs and stuff. So, and we've talked throughout our whole adult lives for one reason or another throughout the years.
Yep.
So you do meet lifelong friends, and I've told you this, and I said it to Mr. Kilburner, FFA is the reason why I'm doing all the stuff I'm doing right now, and nothing I'm doing right now has anything to do with agriculture.
Yes, you're right. You're 100% correct.
Other than I'm sitting here talking about corn husking, but other than that, I mean, I do nothing that involves agriculture, other than I occasionally cover a horse race or I cover this corn husking thing.
Yep.
But my ability to speak and willingness to speak, really, more than my ability, my willingness to speak, and learning how to, all my journalism, all my skills of interviewing people through the years, all my learning how meetings need to work, all of that is because of FFA.
Oh, and you're not the only one. I still have students that come back and said, "Boy, I wish I'd have done more of that, because I'm using that a lot as an adult." And they're right, and I'm right, and they are 100% correct. There is not any other organization that can prepare a young person for adulthood, other than parents and a community, that what FFA does. I mean, just so many different things, and you're going to get put in so many good, uncomfortable situations that it's going to turn you into an adult pretty quickly, and the right kind of adult.
And also getting them involved in things like this.
Yes.
They're if it wasn't for FFA, Wyatt Parks would have never husked an ear of corn.
No, he wouldn't.
Now he likes it. Braden would have never husked an ear of corn.
Nope.
And they both had a blast.
Yep.
It's stuff like that you learn and you get to take advantage of. And it's awesome to see kids out here still willing to take advantage of those opportunities.
Absolutely.
So, well, Sam, I'll let you get out of here. I appreciate it. Our numbers jumped a few. I wonder if people heard you were on and decided they wanted to hear.
You never can tell.
I will tell you, I asked Wyatt, I said, can you tell me what your opening ceremonies are as a Sentinel? He said he couldn't yet.
Well, we're working. We're working.
He said, he goes, I'll have it down before.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Wyatt's one of those kids we call a gamer. He's a gamer.
I will tell you that I didn't really give him any heads up. That was that was the first question I asked him when he sat down with the headset on. I said, can you tell me what you say during opening ceremonies in Sentinel? He kind of just stared. I said, I'm sorry. I should have given you a heads up, Wyatt. I apologize. But he's a great kid, and that's you've got a bunch of them down there, don't you?
We got a bunch of them. We got. We're bordering, and Corky could tell you the exact numbers, but we're somewhere around 125 to that 140 mark in our chapter. And
how many kids are in your school?
What are we at? 165, I think. So we see all but 25 kids in a day. So between her and I, and we just got a great group right now. And as a teacher, I haven't always been able to say that, but I can say the last 6 years at West Prairie that I've been around some awfully talented young people.
The first 6 years sucked? Or?
I'm not going to say that. I mean,
No,
you're
but
covering that Southeastern. Them Ramsey girls and their stepdad, they might have something else to say about that. I've had some great kids over, and I'm still, I still talk to bunches and bunches. My Snapchat blows up quite a bit. They'll start talking in a group, and then I'll get added to it. And do you remember this? And most of them are on the up and up. Some of them maybe not so much. But being an ag teacher and don't. I've loved being an ag teacher, and I'm not sure education is where we need it at today, but I have absolutely loved it.
Well, the one thing I want to, since you brought that up, that I think of every time I do a Southeastern game is when we were in high school. I don't know, maybe by the time you graduated, you didn't quit high school. By the time you graduated high school, they might have had a chapter, but I was a section president. So it would have been the year after I graduated. We went there for the first time when they were looking to get interest in an FFA chapter at Southeastern.
Yep.
So on chapter visits, we took I think it might have been Corey Flournoy and myself and Jason Wolverton and Heath Lohman and a few guys. There's some names from the past,
yeah,
right?
Oh, my, yeah.
And we went and had a meeting with 60 kids, I think, at Southeastern High School. So every time I see Mr. Schulian and I say, I'm like, I feel like I had a part in this deal, even though I really didn't, obviously. But
well, yeah, you probably had more part than what you ever think. I mean, sometimes it just takes a little push. But no, I think they started, and I could be wrong, but I want to say somewhere around 2000 is when they
I was
finally got back.
26 or 7 years ago, actually. So it would have been right after you graduated.
Might have been. You know what? That's right. You know what?
Because
you're right.
I think Schulian's been there for 20 years or something.
But they did. It would have been before that. It would have been somewhere around 92. Yeah. Because
93 or 94.
the Bartlows and the older Bartlows didn't, but the younger Bartlows went through there. Yeah, they did. There was a little group in there. Yeah, I do remember that. So it would have been before then. See, I'm getting old too.
You remember before, right about our freshman year, your freshman year, my sophomore, junior years, when Southeastern starting a program was unheard of.
Oh, yeah.
And now there's programs popped up everywhere with the addition of science and stuff involved in agriculture education.
Oh, I remember even going through Western in the early 2000s that it was, you were still fighting to get programs started. And now what's basically happened is there's no – in the course of a day when I teach home ec, I teach industrial arts, and then I teach agriculture. And what's happened is those teachers have gone away, but ag has stepped up to the plate and filled those maybe not, we don't do sewing, we don't do those types of things, we don't always get through everything in industrial arts, but we filled the void that was there, and we've done a very, very good job at the state level of saying, hey, this is what we're going to do, and we still need those people out there.
And there's science too. I mean, we're not. It's just not vocational anymore. There's ag science and ag business and ag all that.
Oh,
stuff.
there's 100 different things to do, and I think you're a product of it, and you're not doing anything ag related, and it's great, and
it's only because of and I wholeheartedly. I tell everybody I talk to that's the only reason why I do this stuff.
Yep.
Nope. Or why I have the ability to do this stuff. Well, I don't know really I don't know if I have the ability. I just go ahead and do it, and that's just kind of how it works. But I don't know where Kenny went. Hey, Amy. Well, she can't hear me.
He's over there sitting. He's in the back of the trailer. Yep.
Oh, he's sitting over there. Kenny's hiding over there. Do you want to stay here and watch Kenny pick, or should we?
I think I'm going to go back up and start packing up a concession stand and maybe head for a little warmer environment. It's getting a little
chilly.
It's getting chilly out here.
We were going to talk a little more and are going to show some more. But we got some more husking going on, and I didn't move the camera very good. I'm going to show some more husking, and they are definitely picking up the pace now as we go through the day, aren't they?
Yes, it appears that these guys are getting right after it.
Yeah, that's a little above our. As one of the dog about ripped down a young lady there. That'd have been great to have on camera.
This is kind of like sitting right at Main Street at the State Fair. You see a lot of different things out through here.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah.
It's a lot worse things you could see than that. As
Yes.
we'll go to the right camera. I guess I changed the camera and didn't move the camera and didn't
change your view.
Didn't change the view. So, well, Sam, I'll let you get out of here. Thanks for coming up here and talking to us. Thanks for all that you do in support of TSSR Game Time Live.
Hey,
Because,
we love it. We love having the opportunity, and hopefully we'll get you in for some junior high regional games here.
Well,
maybe later in the year.
You get in there and go to state again. We'll be there again. No pressure.
We're going to do everything we can. I can tell you that right now. We're going to do everything we can. So,
all right. Well, that starts this week, doesn't it? Next week?
Start practice tomorrow right after school.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
It's here. Ready or not, here we go.
Yep, ready or not. Yep.
All right, Sam, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Mr. DeCounter from gosh dang, I did it again. West Prairie High School. Gosh, I'm marking my age here. It's a bad deal. We'll get Kenny to come on up here, and we'll show some more picking. Is he sleeping? Yeah. Wake him up. That tells you how long of a day we've had, folks. Kenny may or may not be sleeping right now. So we'll see if we can get him over here. He's done more physical labor today than he should. That corn husking is hard work, folks. He told me that he goes said something he needed to walk because he hadn't done his workout the last couple of days, and then I watched him do his corn husking, and I'm pretty sure that corn husking deal is a workout, but I'm not 100% certain.
It's all right, but what really works you out is staying up till 1, editing all these beautiful videos that we've been together.
Is that what they are? Beautiful. Are we gonna get your grandma on here before we get off the broadcast?
I love her to death, but she's never met somebody's business she can't be in, so I don't know if she's going to have time to slide on
I
over.
hope to God she hears you say that on this broadcast. I'm going to go pull when we're off air, and I'm going to say, Kenny, you start tearing down. I'm going to go replay that for your grandmother.
Well, she'll say the same thing about everybody else. It's kind of a trait that we've got.
No, I think we're going to end. Do you want to get on here before we get off? Are you sure? We'll interview you. We're equal opportunity interviewers. I don't know I don't even know who you are, but we'll talk to you. Hop on there. We'll get him on here, and we'll find out. Put that headset on, and you can hear me talk. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Brian Dykstra.
Brian Dykstra. Where are you from, Brian?
Brookings, South Dakota.
Brookings, South Dakota. Boy, that's what's that, like 2 hours away?
Yeah, more like 9.
9. Did you drive or did you fly?
No, drove.
You drove?
Yeah.
So are you a contestant or are you here helping?
I'm doing both. I'm helping out, and I'm a 50 and over contestant.
So have you went yet today?
No, I'm on my way to find a kid that was going to let me borrow his hook. And
well, then I interrupted you.
I interrupted you.
Well, I guess. So we interrupted each other.
There we go.
I stopped you. You could have went going if I hadn't said anything about an interview. You'd have kept walking. So
I'd have kept right
you
on
stopped
walking.
initially, so we'll just blame it on both of us.
There we go.
So how long have you been doing this?
About 16 years.
16 years. So 16 years isn't that long.
No.
So how did you get into it 16 years ago?
My sister drugged me to it.
Was your sister involved in it, or did she just want to see it?
No, she was involved for probably 4 years before she got me involved.
So how did your sister get involved then?
Her best friend got her into it.
It's funny how that stuff works, isn't it?
Yep.
So what was it about it? What was about it that made you want to do it?
I just love helping. That's what got me into it, really, is just being able to help.
And then you started picking.
And then I started picking. Yep.
So what's your best weight so far in your 16 years?
I've always been right around that 200 pounds.
So 200 pounds, is that a lot?
No.
No. So wait a second. Hey, Kenny, come here, Kenny. Come here. I want. Where's the microphone at? I want to give Kenny. Kenny needs to get in and needs to be here so he can hear this. So Kenny, he has been doing this for 16 years, and he said 200 pounds is his best. So I think that you guys could probably be friends. Because I think 200 pounds, like that should be your goal. That you should. The next national event, where's the next national at? Do you know?
We just found out last night, and I can't remember.
Well, I think that the goal should be his goal should be 200 pounds next year.
Yep.
Don't you think that's a good goal?
There we go.
I think his grandma would appreciate that.
Did he pick this year?
He did. How much did you get, Kenny?
I have no idea. They have not told me my results yet.
You don't. So he doesn't know how much he got, I guess.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to stand around and wait for my results while everybody else is getting in the scales. That just bogs down everything.
So okay. So here's my question to you then. When you're picking, are you focused, not talking, paying only attention to what you're doing?
I am learning to do that. Yes.
Okay. Well, Kenny was having a full-on conversation with the gleaner.
Yep.
So I mean,
she must have been good looking.
No, it was a he.
Oh, it was
but,
a he.
I mean, Kenny and I do a lot of sporting events, and Kenny just likes to talk. So that might have been. But his thing is what was it you said? Who can go 20 minutes without talking? Is that what you said?
No, it's for me. It's the silence. Like
yeah, that's it.
I don't like sitting around in silence. All I'm hearing is shucking corn. It makes me focus on my hands hurting after a while. So I mean, it's much easier to talk to somebody and not really pay attention really to what you're doing. You just get into the mode.
Yep. Well, last night I got into the mode and I ripped the hide off my finger here, and I just kept right on going. I heard about 10 feet back. He's bleeding somewhere.
So did you cut now? Your left pinky
Yep.
is what you cut. Was that with the hook or was that with
with a stock?
Stock.
I grabbed the base of the corn there, and it got pinched in between the stock and the corn.
And you sliced it.
Yep.
Those husks can be like paper, right? I make like they can give you paper cuts, right?
Paper cuts. Yep.
So that's got to be tough. So are you on a time frame? Do I need to let you go? I mean, I'd hate for you to come all the way from Brookings, South Dakota, and then get disqualified because some talking guy kept you from getting down there in time to find your people.
Yeah, no.
Is this your people?
There was a couple guys ahead of me, so
so you're okay.
Fine.
You're fine.
Yep.
Okay, so 200 pounds is your best. Is that what you're saying? Around 200 pounds is kind of your average.
Kind of my average. Yep.
So what's your goal today?
What's my goal today?
Yeah, what's your goal today?
400 pounds.
400 pounds. Do we have a shot in hell of making 400 pounds? Okay. It's like my average is 200. I'm going to go for 4.
There we go.
I guess you always have to go higher.
That's right.
I was always told though that you need to make that goal somewhere which is attainable.
Yeah.
So at least you have a chance of making it.
Yeah.
Do you have a chance of making 400?
No.
I mean, no chance at all.
No. Maybe 250.
I think I feel 275.
275.
That's what I think you're going to do 275 today.
All right, sounds good.
I'm surprised you feel 275. That wasn't that like 30 pounds ago?
No, that was like 100 pounds ago, probably. But I'm sitting in the chair, so I've got some weight off. See how he treats me?
Yep.
Not very nice, is it?
Well,
I probably deserve it.
You two have been together long enough. You probably know each other's buttons.
Yeah. He. It's the only thing he can make fun of me for is being fat. I'm okay with that.
Not looking up.
Yeah, not looking up. But that's not my fault. I don't have any control over that. See how he is? He goes right for the jugular, all the bad stuff. But so, what do you think is going to take to win today then?
What's it going to take to win today?
Yeah.
It'll probably take 400 pounds or better.
And that's in the 50 and over class or the open class?
In 50 and over.
What about the open class?
That I couldn't tell you. Those boys get pretty darn good.
Well, I noticed some of these 50 and over guys on this. I think that's what's going on here. As the day goes along, the corn starts flying a whole lot faster.
A little bit faster. Yep.
It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Hey, don't stick that ear of corn in your pocket for an extra 2 or 3 pounds.
Oh no, I was trying to figure out how to put the lead weight in it like they did in the
like
fish.
the walleye.
Yeah.
Yeah, the walleye fillets and the lead weights. That's a good in theory, but I mean, they take it off the. Do they shell the corn for the weight?
No, it's ear and all.
So if you could, like, drive nails in it, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think, Kenny?
I think you'd get caught doing that.
Yeah, I think you'd get caught too, and that's not worth it. I do not promote cheating and or nail driving into ears of corn.
There you go.
That's not how we are.
Not
well, I appreciate you stopping and talking to us.
Yes,
it was
sir.
fun, and
Yes,
if we're still here, we expect to have an update.
An update as to how much I did get.
I say it's going to be 275.
All right.
What do you think, Kenny? What's your guess?
Full 400.
Kenny's going 400. You've got a goal, and he's got an expectation.
There we go.
I don't ever meet expectations, so don't worry about it. If you don't get there, it's not a big deal.
All right.
All right. So, well, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Have a safe trip back.
I'm going to try.
Okay, we'll talk to you. Hopefully, maybe at another national event sometime.
There we go.
Okay, sounds
Thank
good.
you, sir.
Good luck. All right, we'll get Kenny back under here for, excuse me, for a second, as everybody's went down the line too far for us to see anybody again. Brookings, South Dakota. That's a ways away. Kind of cool to have Brookings, South Dakota on the show. And should we play your now? Tegan was the one that shot this video, right?
Yes.
And in full disclosure, folks, Tegan is a great kid. Been a ton of help with our football broadcasts.
Second time he ever held a camera.
Yeah, he's not really been on the camera a whole lot. So I haven't even seen this yet. Kenny, I got to find my mouse. Where's it at?
It
There
seems to be an issue today
Yes.
for both of us. I don't
Yes.
know what it is about that mouse, but it likes to run away.
Maybe we're blind. I don't know. Sun might have something to do with it. Let's see. Where's Kenny at? I saw it.
I'm right here.
Well, I know you're right there. Kenny Husking. There it is. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. You're all serious and stuff. like you're really, I told your dad when you said, I was talking to your dad actually at volleyball when you said you were going to have to do this. There's something you did. You reached down. I didn't realize you had to reach down and pick up the broken one.
Yep.
Broken
If
stock.
any stock that is in your lane and the next half lane in front of you, that is your responsibility. So you just got to pay attention to make sure not to miss any.
So I told your dad that you were doing this, and he goes, he'll probably pick one ear and stop.
I didn't want to listen to anybody if I would do something like that.
And that anybody would be
My
Mom.
mother.
Yeah. I figured as much. We did show April earlier today.
Yep.
Should we show April?
Oh, yeah.
You know
Why
what?
don't we do it again?
We're going to do this. So this is Kenny. Hey, look at the zoomed in on the hands. Did Tegan do that?
I
edited
that in
zoomed it
together.
in. Yeah, I got you. Okay, never mind. I was going to give him some serious props. That was pretty good stuff. But that makes more sense. We got another video of Look at all the corn in there. You got some ears of corn in there.
Yeah, some, but
you did about 75 times more than I expected.
I did a third. Got third for a reason.
And there's Kenny's completion. So we're going to leave it blank. Did you put April at the top?
Yep. Well, it starts
right
with
there.
an A.
B-roll April picking. This is Kenny's mom, April. We showed this earlier when we first came on air, but we'll show it again right now. And she's, I don't know, I don't think she's any faster than you.
I don't think so, but it has been a while since I've done it too, so.
And it's been a while since she's done it as well, right? Or no?
Yeah. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she was having a bad day.
She was having a bad day. This is Kenny shooting this, by the way. And Mom loved every minute of you shooting video over there.
She complained every time I switched positions. If she could see me, she'd be like, you better not be using this. You better not be using this.
Well,
and
guess what?
Here we
April?
are. We're using it for the second time.
We're not only using it once, we're using it twice. And it's been a fun day here, though, as April is continuing. She's got about another minute. You gave a good, long example of your mother.
Well, I
Husking
tell
corn
you,
here.
I was up editing till 1 a.m. For once, my roommate on a Saturday night looked at me and said, hey, I'm going to go to bed, so if you want to finish up soon, that'd be great. Every other time, I'll be laying in bed, and I'll look over to him and say, all right, can you tell your friends to get offline so I can get some sleep before work?
Well, this has been fun. I don't know how much people enjoyed it. Hopefully they got to see some examples at least of what this corn husking competition is all about. And we can work to the future of maybe doing something a little different. A drone would definitely be helpful. We did get some drone videos sent to us, but we couldn't get it downloaded in time to use it today. So we're sorry about that, but we will mix some more of that in, and we'll release some more stuff down the road here of the corn husking competition, the national corn husking competition. Your family obviously has been involved in this for a long time. Your grandma has been a treasurer, and is very active.
And my mother is the treasurer right now.
She was down there trying to wrangle up some results and all kinds of stuff like that today. So it's been a lot of fun. I hope that people enjoy it, and it's a great place to have it. It's beautiful out here at Lewis Farm.
A lot, I wouldn't say better, a lot different than the old situation we used to be in. The old place, would be just a straight farm with a little bit of grass, kind of like we see here with no trees or anything like that. So we'd show up about before 7, set up a big tent for all the registration and everything to be underneath of. And it was a lot tighter, so easier to walk through. That's one thing that we kind of had an issue with, especially yesterday when we were set all the way down there in lanes 1 and 2 on that side. It was a bit of a haul to get over towards the barn, but I think with this setup, what we've got where it's closer, much better.
Well, I think we can probably – we haven't got Frank Hennefit on here yet, and we wish we could, but he's not done picking yet, I don't think.
He hasn't even started. They haven't even started the women's open.
Yeah, so we've got
they've got at least a good 2 or 3 more hours minimum when it comes down to the open classes, which are 30 minutes.
So we are going to call it quits for today. We'll get some results and put a video together and put some results out there and let people know how things are going and how they finished up. But for everybody here at the Lewis Farm, I can't thank them enough for letting us come and do this. Hopefully it was a good time for everybody. And Kenny, thank you for all your work yesterday and today and staying up and putting all these videos together.
Yeah, I'm going to go home, take a nap, a very timed nap, because I've got a test and to finish a paper tonight.
All right, well, you have fun with that.
Yeah.
So for everybody here, we greatly appreciate you watching and joining us from Good Hope, Illinois, as the National Corn Husking Competition is reaching its finale here today. We'll have a roundup video and some results to follow here on our Hulett PubliPro LLC YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again somewhere down the road.